The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, presented by WinBet. WinBet is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WinBet has what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $100, get $100 at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. At sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WINNBET. State restrictions apply. Yes, sir. We are back on another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no the guy. It's me, really real, villain real, Terrell Furman Jr. at your service. And it's a Wednesday in the association. So I got my guy Scott Studio Russia with me. Scott, what's going on?
Nothing much. Looking forward to going through today's card. I know yesterday was pretty decent for me. Ended up winning the dog. I had the Spurs on the money line, which was nice. The Nets historically awful in San Antonio. To be honest, none of that mattered because Kyrie ended up not playing, and the Nets just don't have any offensive talent when Kyrie and KD are not on the floor. So San Antonio did enough, mostly Keldon Johnson, who was great in the second half. I believe he had 28 points in the second half, I think. Finished with 36. So he was very good. Shout out to Simmons, who had a triple-double in a loss. But, overall, can't complain too much about the card. You?
Oh, man. I mean, I've had better days. I think for the most part against the spread, I was okay. I was on Milwaukee. Milwaukee's 5-0 and 1, I think. Maybe 6-0. I don't remember if that graded as a push
on back-to-backs? Or
yeah, on back-to-backs. So very good on back-to-backs this season, and most of the time they're missing some of their top guys, so really good spot for them in that game. OG Anunoby, man, sometimes like you have intel in the NBA and everything makes sense. 1 + 1 = 2, and you watch the game and that 2 becomes a fish really, really quick because dog, I was sitting there. OG Anunoby, 9 of the last 10 games, he's hit over 1.5 threes. 9 of the last 10. 4 of the last 5 against Milwaukee. That man started the game 0 for 4 from 3.
I hate it when that happens. That's always a rough one.
Terrible. Like everything checked the box check. Had the matchup. He normally plays, he's a small forward, but he normally plays the 4. Like they normally give that small forward position to Scotty Barnes. Bucks, one of the worst teams against the 3, against the power forward position. And I'm just watching the game, and I'm just watching Pressure Achua hit 3 after 3. And I'm like, man, I wish OG could do that. I'd appreciate it. It's just sometimes when it's too good, that's how you know Vegas made a call. Because there's no way. He was like 1 for 13 last night. Overall.
The volume was crazy. I know that was definitely the case. I'm not sure what his final stat line was, but I know for a fact that he kept shooting them, and he just couldn't make any.
He had like 1 or 2 made shots. It's not over 2. It's not over 2. I was literally watching the game. I'm like, man, he can't even make a freaking layup. Like, there's no way I'm getting these threes. And I tried to tweet it out, but I still had a little bit of conviction that he was gonna
figure it out
hot.
At some point.
Yeah, and just make 2 back-to-back. Like they go on a run, make 1, get a defensive possession. He comes back to the same spot, makes another. I had a little bit of conviction, and that's where you mess up when you try to reverse jinx things. Reverse jinxes only work when you are 100% convicted and you're at the point where you're about to rip that ticket up. That's when a reverse jinx will work. It will not work when you're trying to reverse jinx and you have a little bit of conviction that it'll come through. You have to fully give up on the bet, and then the reverse jinx works. I promise you.
But either way, it sounds like player props weren't exactly too kind to you. Did you at least have Embiid or Lillard or somebody? Because I know that you expected Lillard to absolutely.
Of course I had him. Of course I had Lillard. And unfortunately, I had Lillard in a crazy parlay with, guess what? OG Anunoby 3s.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that OG might get hot against them. So I did like a Lillard OG like 5 threes early on, very, very early in the game. I knew he wasn't getting the 5 threes. So I just went ahead and ripped that one up. But oh man. We could talk about a little bit while people are. He said he's not going to get to it. Harden, really? I mean, it just wasn't. It's not even that it wasn't his night. They didn't even attempt to get him going.
Yeah, it was really a mix where, on one hand, you want Harden to be more aggressive and you want him to force the issue a bit more because he's the second best player. On the other hand, Embiid's going for 40. So just give Embiid the damn ball. So it's kind of
Hmm.
just a mix there where you knew as soon as the game started, they can't cover Embiid. We knew that going into the game. He's had 36 plus points in 4 of the last 5 games against the Clippers now.
Hmm.
So I liked Embiid over, as I mentioned it. I thought he'd have a shot to go for 40. He went for 41. Having said that, I do think that what we saw from Harden last night is a big reason why I am not picking Philly to do much in the playoffs. It's because I still don't trust Harden to actually show up in big games when he needs to. And
Hmm.
yes, you could argue he didn't need to last night and there are more important games on the horizon. You're not wrong, but I've seen Harden take nights off all the time.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's been an issue in years past. In the playoffs, if the shot's not falling, he'll keep forcing it, or mentally he'll just be fried and he won't even bother. And at that point, he mentally checks out and his aggression completely goes out the window. What did he attempt? Like 6 shots last night? Seven
Yeah, it
shots
was
last
six.
night?
I think he was 1 for 6, 2 points. It was something crazy.
And he drew some free throws at the end where I know Morris reached in. He did his classic move to get 2 free throws and stuff to kind of pat it a little bit at the end. But Harden looked like he
Man,
didn't
that
care.
one was like that one was it was really like if you're Marcus Morris, you gotta know he's doing that. Like it was dead in your face. Like he straight up went to the body on him. And it was just I was watching that. That was a specific play that I noted. And I'm like, wow, James Harden is still capable of doing that.
He's still capable of doing it. I don't know what Morris is doing. Hand checking got outlawed about 15 years ago. I don't know why you're putting your hand on his chest, but still, I just thought at the end of the day, Harden didn't need to do much, but I was a bit concerned about how much of a non-factor their second best player was. They were just fortunate the Clippers stink and they were able to take advantage of it. But
Mhm.
I feel like that's a good segue talking about the same game because we've roasted the Clippers all year long. They had the highest win total in the Western Conference, I think in the league actually entering the season.
No, it was Boston.
Oh, sorry. So it was the most in the Western Conference. It was the second most in the league. And
Yeah.
I know both of us were laughing at the
Mhm.
win total in the 50s because we knew we couldn't trust the Clippers. You had Kawhi and Paul George last night. You still got run out of your own building. Is there anything the Clippers can
Mhm.
really do at this point? Or are they just screwed? Because I really don't think that this team is good enough to even make it out of the second round at this point.
Make it out of the second round. You got them getting to the second round?
I
I don't
said,
even think
I
they
said, I'm saying best case scenario. I think is a
Oh,
second
okay.
round
I was
loss.
about to say,
That's
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
even think they make it to the second round. Like, I really don't.
No,
This is a
best case
potential.
scenario is they win the first round somehow, despite probably being, I don't even know, a 5 seed at this point, like a 6 seed. Like,
I mean, is it guaranteed that they even get one of those top 6 seeds at this point?
no,
Like,
but I'm
it-
assuming the Stars, George and Kawhi will play enough in the second half that they'll avoid being a playing team.
I don't believe that at all. I'm
Okay.
actually terrified for this Clippers team that one of these people, one of those two goes down again, and they just say, "All right, we'll save them for the playoffs." Like, I'm terrified for this team of
It's
that.
possible. At the end of the day, I still don't think this team is very good. They're a very deep
Nah.
team, but the issue is a lot of their guys think that they should be starters, and as a result, whenever they do play, they jack up a bunch of bad shots. And Morris has been overall pretty decent this year, but we know he's not afraid to shoot the ball a lot. Reggie Jackson's always been, I don't know what to call him, a natural heat check guy because he thinks he's the best player on the floor when he's probably like the sixth best player on the floor every time he's playing. But
Depends on the night too. He could be all the way down at 9-10.
he could be, but the point is, it's really just a sign that the Clippers have not been improving all season long, and you can chalk it up to Kawhi or Paul George missing time earlier this season. It's
Mhm.
a cool story. The problem is when both them play, they still don't look great out there. So Philly, they beat a team that they're better than, and they looked good because Embiid was unstoppable the entire game. The Clippers just aren't very good,
They gave up
and
120.
we're on the same page with the Clippers because we were roasting them all year long, mostly
Mhm.
with the team total unders to start. But people keep waiting for this Clippers team to come around.
They're
And
not. They're not
if
going to
you
come
look at
around.
like future odds, the Clippers are still somewhat up there. They got no chance in hell of winning the Western Conference. That's just not happening.
I will. I will shave the Clippers insignia to the back of my head if they win the Western Conference.
I'd be shocked.
I would be literally like that is probably I would lose a lot of money because I probably faded them the entire way getting there. Like, I don't think
Probably.
there's a single point that I would be like, oh yeah, let me get back on them. Oh yeah, let me get back on them. I probably faded them the entire way and I lost a bunch of money.
And
So
the Western Conference is interesting because you don't have many breakaway teams except for one. We talked about the Warriors in the past and how they're struggling, but at least they've been there before. That's the main difference. The Clippers have never won anything ever since they
I
got Kawhi. And there's different because at least the Warriors core have won a championship before.
licking my chops if I get the Clippers in the first round. I feel good about that matchup.
Yeah.
I feel really good about that matchup if I get the Clippers in the first round. Oh man. All right.
I was
We
going to
gotta
say, though,
get
there's no
to
breakaway teams except for the team that we mentioned about a month ago. The Grizzlies have been cooking, and they look like the best team in the West.
yeah, they we said it like
It was
those
it was
bad
a delayed
losses.
fuse. We thought that
Yeah,
they would break it open. It took them like an
after the
extra week, but
Warriors,
I think they've won 10 straight. Like they've
yeah,
been on
after
fire.
the
So
Warriors, we were like, oh yeah, they're gonna, they're about to go on a run. Then they lost that really bad game to the Suns, and then we're like, all right, now here's the run,
mhm.
and then the run came, and so proud of Memphis for turning the Jets on. We'll talk about them later today. Last thing I want to talk about before we get to the games is 76ers. I know you said that you're down on the 76ers, and I've been too for the most part, but
They're good. Don't get me wrong.
I
I just don't think they're going to be able to piece it together for the playoffs.
but this adjustment of bringing Maxi off the bench full time, I love it.
It's a
I
great
love it. I
adjustment.
was watching it last night and I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is such a good move. Like, it was different points in the game where not the Clippers, but where the Sixers sixered and just kind of gave away the lead they had. But when I was watching Maxi with the second unit and I was watching the contrast of them being able to play a slower style pace, they still ran, they ran basically the whole game. So they still ran a more of an up-tempo pace than they normally do with Harden and Embiid on the floor. But when Maxi came on, it was off to the races.
Yeah, and I think it's a great adjustment, as you said. So I do agree with you on that point, but it doesn't change the fact that in the playoffs, I still don't trust Doc Rivers and I still don't trust James Harden.
No, yeah,
So
for sure. But
that's not going to change for me.
I will say they 100% look like a better team than they did a week ago.
Oh,
With
they
this
do.
move, they look like
Once,
100%
once
better
again,
team
I'm
than they
not
did a
saying
week
that the
ago.
Sixers are a bad team. They're clearly a good team. I'm just not picking them to beat Boston or Milwaukee in a playoff series.
No, I'm not saying you are either. I'm just saying I love the move for the Sixers. It's a move that I didn't think that they were bold enough to make, but apparently Tyrese Maxey texted Doc Rivers, called something and said, "Hey, if this is what's better for the team, do it." And it looked really good last night. Like, it
Yeah,
looked really, really
good.
good last night. All right. That's enough of talking about last night. Let's get into today's breakdown. But before we do that, I got to talk to you about the official online sportsbook of Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and that is WinBet. Look, the NFL playoffs are here, and you can get in on the action doing a whole bunch of different things from WinBet. You can place your normal live game bets. You can do the same game, build your own bet parlay. You can do live betting. You got everything you need: promos, odds, payouts, all of that over at WinBet. Sign up today, receive a special offer, bet $100, get $100, limited to state availability. And of course, if you hit the biggest long shot of the weekend, so create a parlay, something crazy, something insane. I'm definitely going to create something insane and place it in WinBet. And if it is the biggest long shot parlay of the weekend, you can get $1,000 free credit. So head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WinBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. All subject change terms and conditions at winbet.com. It's between an older and present in the state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Scott, I might have to put the Giants in that parlay for the biggest long shot parlay of the
Oh,
week
don't
this
give
week.
away all our stuff. We got the NFL podcast later.
Oh,
Today.
all right.
I'm actually surprised, by the way. I'm surprised you didn't go on some type of Portland rant because Lillard went nuts again. They still lost.
No. I mean, I really had a lot to say about the 4 games that happened last night, so I tried to keep it short. But really
I'm just
quickly,
saying you can go on a Lillard rant if you want to, or a Portland
nah.
rant if you want to.
I mean, Dame Lillard is that guy. Like, he's that guy. But I told you yesterday in our little group chat that, hey, I think Dame and Jokic are at the point in their career where they're so good. Like, Jokic more, but that they're so good that you're at the point where you have to start saying that, they're too good for their team at this point. There's no team success. They have not had any success in the playoffs, either team. I don't even think the Nuggets have made a Western Conference Finals.
They did. They made it in the bubble because AD hit that buzzer beater in game 2,
Oh,
I
okay.
think.
All right. So they made one Western Conference Finals with Jokic, one Western Conference Finals with Dame. Like, I think Portland has to
And
make a
Dame
move.
beat Jokic to make it to the Western Conference Finals. That was a while ago.
Yeah, he did. It was a while ago. Was
Because
that
McCollum had that crazy game 7. But
was there something? Was that a 3-1 comeback? When was that?
no,
There was
I think that was potential. They won game 7 in Denver, so I'm assuming it was a 3-2 comeback.
okay. All right. I knew it was something like that. Yeah. No. Oh man. I mean, I just. I don't know. I don't know what to say. And I mean, I really feel like they need to make a move. I think that when they make a move and just add another scorer off the bench, maybe some rim protection, that would do good
I was
for
gonna
them.
say if I was fixing the Blazers quickly, my immediate fix would be a trade Nurkic for a more athletic center.
Yeah,
No
and
offense
that's
to
what I said.
Nurkic, like he's a good facilitator. I get all that, big
You
bodies,
can get
but
a lot for him. You can get a lot for him.
you probably could get a decent amount. But in today's NBA, you have to switch everything, and Nurkic is gonna get killed in pick and roll every time. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do about it. You need a more athletic center. I like Eubanks the backup. I think he's actually decent. But can you imagine a Portland team? His name's involved in trade talks all the time. I'm not saying Portland's going to get him. How much better do you think Portland would be with like a Miles Turner? Like somebody
Yeah.
like that. They'd be a lot better. Like I don't think
Yeah.
Nurkic is well equipped enough to guard well defensively. And that's why Portland's defense has kind of fallen off a cliff.
Yeah. I think that with a Miles Turner, I think that
That's just an example by name. It doesn't
if
have to be
they
Miles
make
Turner.
if they make a move for
Even like a Mitchell Robinson type with like
yeah, like
anybody that's
something.
athletic.
Somebody that can just move in front with the person in front of them, able to still fight for the rebounds that he gets. Like I think Portland, and I'm expecting. Well, I'm not expecting to see them make a move as Portland, but if they do make a move, then you'll see me come on this podcast and say that it's a great move for Portland, more than likely.
They also don't have many great facilitators. Once again, I'm not going to go into a deep dive on Portland, but we know Lillard's been getting assists a decent amount. Simons has never been a big assist guy, and Grant's never been a big assist guy. So the ball can get a bit stagnant at times. Now, it's fine because Lillard can drop 40, but I'm just acknowledging the ball movement's not always great with that team. But defensively,
That's why I like Josh Hart, because Josh Hart doesn't care. Like Josh Hart
Hart doesn't care. The problem is, like, I don't know if you actually want Josh Hart, like, generating offense for your team. He's mostly.
I think when there was a stretch where Lonzo was out for New Orleans, and Josh Hart looked really good, like as the pseudo point guard for that team. Like
As the pseudo point guard, they'll never use him that way because the ball's always in Lillard's hands. But
yeah,
I like Hart as a role player. I just think that when it comes to actually creating offensive sets, Josh Hart being your primary ball handler is probably what 2% of your plays because you have Grant, Simons, and Lillard.
If I'm Chauncey, I'm working with Gary Payton II day in and day out. Like I need you to do something other than defense. If you're gonna come in, I need you to be able to run the offense to a T and keep the second strings like the ball moving,
or at
get
least
them
be
to
a
their
cutter off
spots.
ball. Do something.
Yeah, like I need you to be a 5-6 assists type of guy per game. Like
Yeah,
I need you to be able to do that.
The way that I see Portland, they have a lot of isolation scores, and that's basically it. And then defensively, once again, I just think Nurkic is not. I'd say he's in the wrong generation right now. Like he'd be so good in the 1980s, 1990s, even 2010s, early 2010s. But nowadays, when you need to switch everything, you can't really get away with playing a center the size and stature of Nurkic. He's just not mobile enough. You can't get away with it.
I'd be interested to see a Miles Turner trade. I think that's a deal that they could probably work out too.
That was just an example. Indiana, I don't think is going to blow it up. With Halliburton being out, though, I expect them to fall off a cliff. So we'll see if they can make. We'll see if they make a move. But you get my point. I don't think they're athletic enough in the front court.
All right, for everybody that skipped the first 20 minutes and got straight to the picks.
Usually we spend 30 minutes, so you should be a bit happy we cut that short.
First game on the docket, we have the Washington Wizards on the road going to play the New York Knickerbockers. The Knicks are laying 6.5 at home. 222.5 is the total. injury report that I have for these two teams, for the Washington Wizards, Bradley Beal is questionable with the hamstring. And for the New York Knicks, guess what? There is nothing. Pretty clean injury report for the Knicks tonight. All right, Knicks laying 6.5 at home.
I'm going to ask you this because I know you're the
No.
Knicks fan, so I'll let you go first.
No.
This team's been very streaky all year.
No.
They've won a bunch of games recently, then they lost to Toronto in overtime.
No.
Are they going back on the downswing?
No.
Okay, so you're taking the Knicks.
I don't know if I'm taking the Knicks, but I don't think they go back.
What the hell was that?
I was just saying no because
I know you were. I was trying to.
I felt like you were going to troll me at some point.
Like a
I felt like you were going to troll me.
I was trying to set you up. So no, you expect them to stay hot. Cool. You taking them? No.
Yeah, for the most part, I do.
What?
Yeah, I still know. It's still no. For the most part, I do expect them to stay on the hot streak, and I think that they're a money line piece in this game to get a win, but. I just have an issue with the Knicks.
In the fourth quarter of games?
Fourth quarter of games, anything outside of the first half, honestly. And it's more of the fact that, they still don't have a good ATS record at home. And that's really like a big issue for me. And it, like I said, it's very understandable. Like it's very plausible and understandable why the Knicks, why the Lakers would not have good ATS records at home, because guess what? These are like the two biggest places that everybody dreams when they're a kid to go play basketball, hit a game winner, have a big game, do whatever. And my issue on fading the Knicks, though, is that Washington doesn't look good. Like they don't look good. And
Beal's still out, so that doesn't help. But
yeah, and even when Beal's in, like it's not like a
they're not good.
I don't
anyway.
see a jump. Yeah, I don't
anyway.
see a jump when Beal is in the game. The ball gets very stagnant. They look very confused on offense. It looks like they're trying to force people touches at times. Like I really don't get it with this Washington team. And granted, they are a pickup basketball team of a bunch of guys that just showed up to the gym and said, "Hey, you want to get on a team, play together?" Like that's what the Wizards look like as a team. So this is really, it shouldn't be that confusing, but
could be worse though. You could be the Rockets with an AAU basketball team. Could be worse.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They're very AAU like for sure. They're probably all the same age as the people in the AAU circuit. So I'm not laying this many points with the Knicks at home. Like I just can't do it. I'm on the first half. I like them for the first half of the game. These two teams just played recently too. The other day, wasn't it? Yeah, it was like the other day.
Played on
the 13th.
It was Friday or Saturday. I think it was Friday.
Yeah, Friday the 13th. 112, 108. Knicks won and covered that game, covered by the hook.
And that's a good example you brought up because I believe they were favored by around 4.5 in that game, and the Knicks were up 10 with like 4 minutes to go, and suddenly, next thing you know, it's basically a one.
Depending on where you got the closing line, at 3.5, at 4, at 4.5, you either your bet went one of three ways. Like it's not just they just covered it. And so they were actually even slow in that first half. Like they lost the first half in that game. So.
I believe it was the late third quarter, early fourth quarter push that got the Knicks up a decent amount. But once again, they were up 10. They almost blew it in the final 3 minutes.
Yeah, I can't trust this team laying this many points at home. I really can't. It normally that should be a really good spot to back teams at home, but I just can't do it with the Knicks. So I'll take the Wizards plus 6.5. I still think the Knicks get a win. I just think that it's closer than what it probably should be. And yeah, I'm on the Knicks first half. Like that's a gift that keeps on giving. And they just lost it to this team earlier.
Oh, I know. I had the first half as my lock for Friday.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is the matchup that they come back and get that one. What are you doing?
I think I agree with you I have to agree with you on Knicks first half. I am agreeing with you on the Wizards. I don't typically like to back teams that are laying a decent amount of points in almost an immediate rematch. 2 meetings in 2 weeks. Or 2 meetings in 1 week, actually. I think the Wizards can hang with this team, kinda. I think it'll be close. I'm not picking the Wizards to win. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not picking the Wizards to pull off an upset, but I think they can keep it close. Maybe Porzingis has a nice game back in MSG. We'll see what happens. But I see people talking about Brunson. I believe I see Brunson's points prop at 25.5. It's at minus 140.
Oh my gosh. Like, how do I not, like, at what point do we fade Jalen Brunson? Like, he has to show us. He has to show us that he can't consistently hit this prop anymore.
I mean, he's had at least 26 and 7 straight. So I'm not going to take the under. I'm going to go with the over in that one. But
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like Brunson, who just had 34 against this team, is still in great form. I'm not going to pivot off of him. Like, can I? I don't think I can. Like, he's been
The
phenomenal.
only way I would pivot, and this is just me being concerned because excuse me, we're getting to a point where he's just hitting this way too much.
Oh,
Like
his
at
numbers are
some point he's
extremely
gonna.
inflated as well. You're expecting him to come back down at some point.
So the only way I'm quote unquote fading this is by taking his assist. It's just saying that okay, now they decide to trap him. Now they decide to get the ball out of his hands, and somebody else does the work for him. So that's the only way I would not play Brunson's points is by playing the assist instead and hoping that this is one of those 8, 9, 10 assist games for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to play it. There's no way I really can't. This number does feel a bit short. I mean, it is a minus 130, but at the end of the day, we saw a couple numbers last night, mostly Embiid, who was at 31.5, and it was minus 125, minus whatever. And at some point, you look at the number and go, I really don't care. Like, I don't think this team can stop this guy. I don't think anybody on Washington can stay in front of Brunson.
Yeah. And they don't have the rim protection to stop him when he gets to the rim.
No.
So
who's their best defender on the team? Like, is it Avdia? Like, I don't even know who the hell their best defender is on this team. I know DeLon Wright can't guard him.
Wow. And that's odd because this team actually has been good defensively all year, but
they don't have any stoppers. Like that's
I can't tell you one person that I think, oh, that person is going to get a stop. I think this is a well-coached team. I mean,
they're
I don't
doing the
know.
best they can for the parts that they have. I mean, they're an awful team because they're 18-26, but then you remember Beal's missed a bunch of games. Porzingis has missed some games here and there. He's been mostly healthy though, and they don't really have any true point guard, and yet they're 18-26. Like you'd assume this team would be a lot worse.
Wow, I'm really interested who their best defender is. I'm gonna have to.
I think it might be Avdia, and I'm not even sure if he's a good defensive player. I'm talking about perimeter defenders. Like overall, you could argue maybe Gafford, but it's still. But Gafford's got his ankles broken, and Julius Randle killed him the last time they played. So he put him in the rim. So I don't know if Gafford's playing. I don't know if he's potentially traumatized, maybe in therapy for what Randle did to him last time. But they really don't have many good defenders, if any. It's bad.
All right, let's see here.
And I'm looking at Porzingis points as well. I see his
number. That's what I was just sitting here about to say. Let's just go ahead and back Porzingis tonight.
It's not even the MSG spot, which of course helps, but you're looking at his number. It's at 20.5. And you look at his recent performances with Wall being out, not Wall. Wow, Wall being out. That's a massive throwback. With Beal being out, with Beal being out, he just has the ultimate green light. He's taken a bunch of shots lately, but to go through the point totals, he's scored at least 22 points in, let me see if I got this, 5, 6, in 8 of the last 9, including 21 against the Knicks last time out. He went 6 for 19, so he didn't even shoot well, but he still attempted 19 shots. I think 20.5 is too low.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Total sitting at 222.5. Any quick thoughts?
Not really. The last meeting landed 220, which gives me nothing to work with. I guess I'm going to lean to the over, I guess. I mean, the Knicks have been scoring well lately. Maybe the Knicks can put up 120 themselves. Like, I think that's a distinct possibility, but it's still potentially a thing. I'll lean to the over, and I hope the Knicks do enough. You?
I'm going under.
I don't have a strong opinion about it. The number is kind of exactly where it should be.
Yeah, last game pushed at 220. 3 games before that, all under. So, I mean, I'm not playing it, but in terms of tally site, I'll put under up there. All right, next game on the slate, we have the Atlanta Hawks going to play the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas. Dallas is laying 2 at home. 233.5 is the total. Hawks have a clean injury report. Don't hear that too many times with them.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic is probable. THJ is out. I didn't know that.
Well, it should be a Doncic Trey show because,
I mean, everybody and their mother is going to be betting that. So,
of course.
DFS is likely to play. Josh Green likely to play. McKinley Wright is out. you're not going to see Maxi Kleber. I really didn't know. I missed THJ getting injured. I missed that completely. Don't remember seeing that. All right,
What does Hardaway have? He has a foot injury or something?
ankle.
It was just a pure guess, by the way, because he had a history of leg
Yeah,
injuries his entire career, or foot
yeah.
injuries. I just assumed it was an ankle. Okay.
All right. You have a disgusting spot with Atlanta on the road and Dallas laying points. Not only Dallas laying points, but Dallas laying points at home.
It's a small number of points, though. It's
It is.
tolerable for me. I'm going to lean to Dallas. Atlanta's healthy, and I get that. They should dominate on the glass. Maybe they can use their spacing to try to get Capella outside the paint, and I'm kind of curious if Capella actually has a good role in this game or not, because we've seen big men get played off the floor against Dallas. I'm going to take the Mavericks. I can't take Atlanta on the road. Dallas, don't get me wrong, has been struggling a bit lately. I still don't like their overall team, but they're good at home. Atlanta's not good on the road. And no offense to Trey fans, but Luka is obviously the best player on the floor, and Atlanta got ripped off on that trade. I'm going with Dallas at home. I just think that it's a pretty good spot for a low number. It's like 2.5. I don't trust Atlanta enough on the road.
Yeah. If Dallas loses to Atlanta in this spot, just go ahead and add the Luka needs help mural on the side of this post when you post it.
It was a hell of a mural, though.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I have no artistic talent, so I'm impressed by like the most basic art stuff. Murals are impressive. I don't know how people do it.
I don't know how people draw a person. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can effectively draw a person.
I think if I closed my eyes, I couldn't even draw myself. I'm that far behind artistically.
And my eyes were open.
Eyes
I
were
couldn't
open, I
draw.
might not be able to.
Yeah, I was about to
I
say
draw
my eyes are
stick
open.
figure,
I can't draw myself. Oh man. All right. This is a really bad spot for me to have to pick this game. So I'm just gonna go to the trend. And the trend is when you have a team that's favored at home, coming off of a loss, 2 back-to-back losses on the road, versus another team that's coming off 2 back-to-back wins. Like, so basically, Team A lost 2 games on the road. Now they're coming back home as a favorite against a team that's hot, rolling, done won the past 2 games. In this spot this season, the Mavericks would be 8-2, 6-4 against the spread. Mavericks actually have been in this same spot twice this season already, so this makes 3 times. They won both games, covered the game against the Timberwolves, did not cover the game against the Trailblazers. They won that game against the Trailblazers by 5. The line was 6.5 when it closed. Oh man, I'm terribly scared of Dallas winning by 1 in this game. So give me Dallas money line.
I think I'll lean to the spread. I don't think I'm going to have any money on this game besides maybe some props. If you want to expect Trey double-double, or maybe if you want to go with a Luka triple-double or something like that. But Dallas has been good at home. Atlanta's not good on the road. I still don't think Atlanta's going to work, and they haven't made a single move. So I don't know what the hell they're waiting for, but it's just not working with Atlanta. So I'll lean to Dallas at home.
Oh man, here. Let's see. Atlanta is one of the worst teams in the first quarter on the road, 9-14-2. Wait, is that 2? No, 9-14 overall on the season. Last 10 games, Atlanta is 4-6 to the number in the first quarter. Last 5 games, and Atlanta is, where is Atlanta? So they must be decent if I can't find them. 3-2 last 5 games, first quarter on the road. So not bad. I still think I would play Dallas early. I just feel like Dallas is going to want to come out.
How the hell is Luka's points prop 34.5? I understand Luka's a savage and all. 34.5.
It's incredibly high. Like, you have to just go ahead and say you're getting 35. I don't think I can just go ahead and predict anybody to get 35 points.
I think I have to automatically lean to the under there, and you just hope Atlanta forces him to pass the ball. But
I'm not going to do it.
I'm not taking the over 34.5. Like, I can't bet that.
I would never bet the prop 34.5. I'd rather just go ahead and take my chances and get plus money at 40. Because if he gets 35 against Atlanta, he's getting 40.
I think maybe it just might be a rule for me. I'm not taking 35 plus unless it's plus money. I'm not taking that at minus 120. I mean, that's just absurd to me. So I think Luka's gonna have a big game, but as you said before, everyone's betting it, which is why it's priced so high.
Yep.
34.5 for a points prop. That's too high. That I
I can
can't
only
take.
imagine the amount of Luca 40 plus, Trey 40 plus slips that are going on. I actually would just make a parlay not fading those two, but just betting anybody else, like anybody else on either team to go off
DeJounte?
and have a good game.
You,
I really would like DeJounte because DeJounte just came from the Western Conference where he played this Mavericks team 4 times a year. So I
mhm.
would play DeJounte in this spot. Like he should know that team. And he's a slasher, able to get to the rim. There's no rim protection at all whatsoever for Dallas. This should be a DeJounte game. I would rather play DeJounte for sure.
I'm
I
just
would have played DeJounte and THJ, but you know how the
yeah.
second part of that went.
Well, DeJounte's at 18.5, which does seem like a relatively low number. But you're looking at Luka, and I'm just saying, once again, for 34.5, I don't know how you're going to put Embiid at 31.5 against the Clippers and then
Mhm.
put Luka at 34.5. The volume's going to be crazy for both. Embiid's going to go to the line 20 times. But I think this number is just crazy. Like the only player that I could think of or players that I think
Snake
should be
parlay.
priced at this number are Giannis basically against just no centers in the league at this point. Prime Kobe would be at like 37.5 because he wouldn't pass the ball. And LeBron, like when he's trying to go for a massive stat line in the playoffs, those are like the main three I could think of that are worthy of being 34.5, 35.5, whatever. But that's a crazy number. Like that, I just can't take.
DeJounte Murray and Spencer Dinwiddie both scored 25 points is 26 to 1.
I mean, I like Dimwitty in the spot. I think Dimwitty's got a nice little way to pivot off of Luka, especially
Yeah.
if you think, well, who do you think would guard Luka? Do you think it would be DeJounte or do you think it would be DeAndre?
Probably a combination of both.
I'd
Probably
assume
wait.
so.
Yeah, I think you'll just see who kind of plays him better that game. If you probably start early with DeJounte. If DeJounte is not working, then you say, all right, well, we're going to make an adjustment and DeAndre is going to be on him. But uh, I think you have a good bet of one or the other, and then the other is probably going to be on Dinwiddie.
I think so. Dimwitty's quietly been very good lately. He's had 25 plus points in each of the last 2 games. Both of them were against Portland. So there you go. But he does need to embrace a bigger role, and it looks like he has been since, of
Mm-hmm.
course, Brunson's not there anymore. So now he's the second fiddle. You could argue Christian Wood, but in reality, I think Dimwitty needs to be the second best guy offensively because he can create something off the dribble for this team. And you could also shoot from
Yeah,
the outside when they double team Luka. But 16.5 for Dimwitty does seem a bit low when he's had 17 plus in 3 straight games.
I think that some combination, some combination of DeJounte, either Dinwiddie or Wood, I think is a nice little bet. You're going to lose a lot of juice because Dinwiddie's like plus 550 to score 25.
Yeah.
But I think that's a pretty good bet.
Mm.
All right. We're both on Dallas. Total sitting at 233.5.
I don't even.
I'm on the over. I'm on the over.
I
It's
think
a
I'm going to lean
non-conference.
over as well, but
It's a
excuse me, I don't
non-conference
feel great
game.
about it.
It's a non-conference. It's a non-conference game. Overs are really, really good in the non-conference. Both of these teams' records against the non-conference in overs. Atlanta's 8-5, 61.5%, and Dallas is 9-8, 52.9%. I know Dallas typically runs a slower pace, but they've been really good to the over this season at home. At least I think they have. Let me make sure that hasn't changed. Yeah, they've still been really good to the over this season at home. 14-8 at home, 14-9 on the road. Atlanta's been reeling recently, but I still think this is a spot where the whole team gets up because this is kind of like one of those non-conference rivalries when you think about 2 players and the trade and all of that and what's come of it. So yeah, I think we see a lot of points in this one. It's a high total, but I think we see a lot of points.
Yeah.
I really like the over in this game.
I don't really, really like it, but I'll lean that way.
All right. Next game on the slate, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder welcoming the Indiana Pacers at home. Thunder laying 4, 238.5 is the total. Injury report we have for the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, you're not seeing him for a little while. Pretty clean, other than Halliburton and Tice, who are both on uh, IR or some form of IR. And OKC, I mean, for the most part, they're clean, except for all the people that you're not going to see anytime soon. James Robinson Earl, Pokusevski, Chet Holmgren, blah, blah, blah.
Thunder
Not laying,
favorites, so I know you hate this spot for
not
the
laying points
Thunder,
with the
but
Thunder. I can't. I'm not laying points with Thunder. It's burned me too many times. No matter how good the matchup has looked, it's burned me too many times for me to ever feel comfortable laying points with Thunder.
I watched them play against the Nets the other day. They look good in the fourth quarter. Giddey's been phenomenal lately, so he's been very aggressive. Shea has been good. He hasn't gone for 30 that often lately, but he hasn't needed to. Team's just been competitive. I understand your point. I think I'm going to lean to OKC anyway. I think I just penciled Indiana in as basically an auto fade without Halliburton, and we saw Nembhard have a great game earlier this year against the Warriors, but they're not the same team. They're just not. I want to make a case for them. McConnell went for 29. Miles Turner went for 30. They still got killed in the fourth quarter by Milwaukee in a game that Giannis didn't even play in. I just think that OKC is the much better team. It's really simple as that. I like how they're playing. The chemistry's there. They're gelling properly. I get, historically speaking, based on trends, you probably don't want to lay points with the Thunder, but I think I'm going to lean that way just because I really like what I've seen from the Thunder the last couple of weeks.
I can't do it. Indiana +4. You made a lot of good points. You almost got me to do it. You really did. So congratulations for you on that. Very, very close to get me to do it. I couldn't do it though. OKC +4. Total sitting at 238.5. I mean, what is this? What was this note that I had written down? Unders have hit in 3 of 5. No Halliburton this season.
What do you say
The
the
total
was
opened
again?
up at the total's at 238.5. For record, it opened up at 242.
I think I will lean to the under. That number seems a little bit high. OKC can play some defense when they need to. You need one bad quarter. I think they'll get it. I'll lean to the under.
I'll take a first half over.
Okay, first half over I can agree with. I think the game slows down after halftime.
Yeah. Slight lean to the unders. Probably a little bit if I don't care in the second half. First half, it goes over. What's that number in the first half? It is consensus 122. Yeah, that's high for a first half, but I think it can get there. These teams don't play defense at all. All right. Yeah, instead of betting OKC money line, I'd rather just take my money and throw it on Shea points and just see what happens.
Okay, I believe that's a 29.5.
Yeah, I would much rather just. I think it's a better possibility of Shea going for 30 than OKC covering the spread. And if he goes for 30, they probably covered the spread. So, well, no, because he's gone for 30 before and they haven't been able to do it. Yeah, I just trust Shea to go for 30 more than them covering the spread. I can't do it. Okay, next game on the slate, we have the Miami Heat on the road going to play the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans are a 3-point home dog to the Miami Heat. 219.5 is the total. Injury report here for the Pelicans. Herb Jones is doubtful, so that probably has a lot to do with it. You're not going to see Zion or BI. And for the Miami Heat, Kyle Lowry's questionable. Caleb Martin is probable. Udonis Haslem is probable for whatever that's worth. Duncan Robinson, Jovic, and Yurtseven, you're not going to see. I mean, flowchart. Are the Miami Heat a favorite? Yes or no? Check yes. Bet the dog. I don't care.
Now, New Orleans has not been good lately because they're missing a bunch of pieces, but they're still a very good home team.
Yep.
Miami should, keyword should, win this game. The problem is you can't trust them and they blow a bunch of spots they should win. So I'm with you. I think if I was going to take a spot with Miami, I'd probably just take New Orleans team total under because I just expect the Heat to clamp down if they're actually going to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably how I would pivot if I was on Miami. I'm going to agree with you, though. I'll lean to New Orleans. This team is very good in the Smoothie King Center. Is that what it's called?
Yep, Smoothie King.
Yeah. So I'll go with the...
I wonder, do they still do $5 smoothies on Fridays?
I don't know if
That
it's
used to be
available
during
in New York,
college.
but $5 sounds like a hell of a time.
Oh, yeah, and it's a large. Like, I think it's, what's that, like 32 ounces? Like, it's a pretty good deal for $5. I don't know if they still do it.
See,
They
it
did
sounds
it
like a
during
good
college,
deal
though.
until you find the right bar and it's dollar happy hour, and suddenly the ratio's a bit off, you know.
All right, Scott.
That was my college experience. I saved a lot of money for the happy hour deals. But anyway,
Okay.
I think I'm going to
They
go
have
with
happy hour in Wisconsin?
Wisconsin has like 10 of the drunkest cities in America. So yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's because there's nothing else to do.
We're massive alcoholics.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do, so.
I guess so. I'm not going to watch the Brewers in playoff time, so people were drinking anyway, but or the Packers in this case, but still. I was actually there before Milwaukee won a title, so they had nothing. It was just a lot of drinking, but still,
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Pelicans here, but I do think the under is probably my favorite play. I think both teams clamp down. I think you'll see more of a defensive game here. Give me the under, but I'll lean to New Orleans.
Interesting fact, the last 4 games, Miami has won. Even more interesting, the last 4 games, Miami has won and covered as a favorite.
Now, why would they do that?
Why? I'm not gonna lie. That is seeing that right there is the closest thing to ever getting me taking Miami as a favorite, because that's very hard to do as a team to allow Miami to cover, whether it's at home or on the road, to cover as a favorite 4 straight times in a row.
Once again, if I was going to take Miami, I would just take New Orleans team total under. It's a safer way to get there if Miami's offense just goes the game.
4 games, in those 4 games, New Orleans scored 97, 98, 93, 98.
They can't score. So,
all right. Good point there, Scott. Anything else for this game?
Not really, no. If you like New Orleans, I guess blindly back McCollum. I'm not sure if I like him in this matchup or not. Can I get the over on Jimmy Butler free throws?
I think I will. Yeah, that should be an over. I think I will take. I want somebody on the outside that can, because the Miami Heat can give up threes like nobody's business. I think I would take Trey Murphy on the outside.
Okay.
Or maybe like a random Jose Alvarado good 3-point shooting day. I want somebody on the outside against Miami today.
I'm trying to think of who I actually want for the outside. You mentioned Murphy. That's the obvious choice.
Yeah.
McCollum maybe can get hot from 3 if you want to pivot there. What other options do they have? I mean, Marshall thinks he can shoot threes. He's okay at it. He just attempts a lot of them.
It looks like Dyson Daniels is getting into the starting lineup. Dyson Daniels is coming into the starting lineup in place of Herb Jones.
He's not exactly a great shooter, Daniels.
Yeah, no.
He can shoot a little bit, but
I might back like a Dyson Daniels steals prop. That sounds like something he can do.
I feel like Butler steals might be worth a look in this game as well.
He was been really good this season to that prop. I think they keep
Butler's always been good at steals.
Yeah.
Didn't we take that throughout the entire playoffs last year?
At one point, because it kept being plus money, and it was like it just kept hitting. So, all right. That's enough of this game. Next game on the slate, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers on the road to go and play the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies are laying 7.5. 228 is the total injury report for this 2 teams. And you have, for the Grizzlies, John Conchar is not on the injury report. Danny Green's name is still on this team. What? I thought Windhurst said that he was gonna. Did you see what he told Danny Green his name?
Well, he still might get traded. He's just a trade deadline salary piece. So yeah, the night is still young. We'll see if he gets traded by the deadline.
He'll probably get traded and bought out. Donovan Mitchell is doubtful for the Cavaliers. That's why this spread is all the way up at 7.5.
Are we just pivoting to Garland props?
Yeah, for the most part. There's like some crazy. Isn't there like some crazy stat with these 2 teams or something? I feel like I saw something on Twitter and I told myself I was going to bookmark it and I never did. I feel like it's some crazy stat between these 2 teams. I don't know. You talk while I try to figure that
out. For me, I'm going to take Memphis. I'm not really going to overthink this. Memphis first half, Memphis full game. Based on where the line's located, I'm assuming Mitchell's not going to play. Memphis has won 10 straight. We've been praising this team for a while. They finally looked the part. And Cleveland's main strength, if you want to talk about Mitchell not being in, is their front court with Mobley and with Allen, because they can rebound well and they're very good defensively. But they're against Steven Adams, who's the best offensive rebounder in the league. They're against Jaren Jackson, who's a great rim protector. They're also against Brandon Clark. Memphis matches up well against this team in the front court, and they're going to have a healthy Ja and a healthy Bane. I'm on Memphis. Cleveland has not been good on the road anyway, but now Mitchell's out, most likely. I think I got to go with Memphis. First half, I'm tempted by. This game could turn into a rout, but I think Memphis wins by double digits.
Yeah. Man, there's some like crazy. I'm gonna find it at some point.
I'm trying to
I don't
think of
think
the angle that you're even mentioning.
it was just something random. I know it was something random. I was like, Memphis and Cleveland, like what? Those teams rarely even play each other. It was like a random thing, and I told myself I was gonna remember it, and I didn't remember it, so I don't know what it is. All right.
You go with Memphis too? It's
Of
really
course.
tough to make a case with Mitchell being out. It's really a tough
Of
case.
course. I mean, I kind of wish he was in just so I can get a better number, because I still probably would have took Memphis before. But I'm sitting here and talking about non-conference games and the best teams playing against the non-conference. It's Memphis. Memphis has a 13-4-1 ATS record against the Eastern Conference. That is 76.5%, by far, head and shoulders the best in the league. And you go down here to Cleveland, and Cleveland's 9-11 ATS against the Western Conference. So that was just one thing. You already hit on everything else. That Memphis is great at home. Memphis is great in the first half at home. I like both Memphis first half and for the game. I think that's a very good bet. And even though, Donovan Mitchell being out doesn't help at all, I just think that this is two teams that really can go back and forth, kind of like an over in the game, actually, just because I don't think the Cavs are going to be able to stop. I think Ja can penetrate and still get to the rim with Allen and Mobley down there. And I don't think that they have anything to stop maybe Bane from the outside. God help you if this is a Dylan Brooks game, then you're just completely screwed if Dylan Brooks has a effective shooting night. And so I think that they'll probably still have some issues with Allen. I might be on Allen tonight for his points. I think they might have some issues with him against Steven Adams, because I expect to see Mobley and Jaren Jackson Jr. to have a really authentic matchup tonight. I'm really looking forward to seeing that again.
I'm thinking if I want to take a stance, maybe I'm worried about a blow-up potential, because I think that is definitely a possibility. Maybe Garland double-double. Maybe. It's at plus 175.
Yeah. I think that he could get there off of Allen alone. Like if he and Allen play the pick and roll right, I think they can get there off of that alone. So
I also realize, are we blindly taking Jaren Jackson blocks? They're at 2.5. It's plus 125.
Why? Why not? Why not? Wait. Did you say plus 125?
Plus 125. Like I feel like I got to bring it up because I want to read off the stats.
I would have loved it. I would have loved it more if Mitchell was playing. That would have been my best bet of the entire day if Mitchell was playing.
All right,
I still like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna read off Jackson's blocks for the last couple of games: 6, 2, 2, 5, 5, 3, 3, 3, 6. So he's had at least 3 blocks in, was that 4, 5, 6, in 7 of the last 9 games. 2.5 is plus 125.
It's insane.
Just saying.
It's almost so insane that it feels like he's gonna end with 2 tonight. That's how insane it feels.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do you make it 3.5? Like, how can I just figured it'd be 2.5 juiced minus 130
plus 125. Like that's a bizarre number, but I got to at least bring it up because Jackson's been a shot blocking machine.
Yeah. And I think it's more of probably thinking of, well, you're probably not going to see too many people try to go to the rim against this team with no Mitchell. But come on, it's Karis LeVert. You're telling me Karis LeVert isn't going to look Jaren Jackson Jr. in the face and say, oh, yeah, I can get to the rim on you. Like,
that's one prop that I wish that books would have that they don't. I want shot attempts. I want field goal attempts on players. Like that doesn't have to go in. Just give me the attempts. Like I'll take the over on LeVert. But
that would be fun. All right.
Can you imagine the sweat there? You're just yelling for your guy to get the ball with 1 second left in the quarter to chuck it up from 70 feet.
And get that attempt.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. I wonder if somebody does have that. It's a
I've
good
seen
skill.
it in the playoffs. I've seen shot attempts or 3 attempts before, but I
Yeah.
don't see it on a regular basis. That's really the next step for gambling, just to throw in another prop. Just shot
Yeah.
attempts.
I mean, they do rush attempts in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. All right. 228. I'm on over. Any thoughts on the total?
I think I'm going to lean under. With Mitchell not being there, both teams are still solid defensively.
Mhm.
I just think you're going to see a lower scoring game. Memphis has always been a team that's throughout the entire year where they have a really good first half offensively, and then the second half just dies. And they're a very good live under team if you go by their numbers this season.
Mhm.
I'm going to lean under. Mitchell's not there. Both teams defensively are still good. I'll lean to the under. That number seems a little bit high to me.
All right. Next game on the slate, we have Charlotte Hornets on the road going to play the Houston Rockets. Rockets are catching 3 at home.
It's a damn tank bowl. I don't know who's going to try to win this game.
237 is the total injury report for these two teams, and you have for the Charlotte Hornets, whenever I find their team name on this list again, the Hornets are right here. And for their injury report, you are going to find. Oh, wow. Wait, no, that's not them. What the heck? I clicked on the wrong. Okay, hold on. My fault. I clicked on the wrong page. Sorry, guys. Okay. Charlotte Hornets, for their injury report, you are going to see. Where are the Hornets at? Where are the Hornets at? Where are the Hornets at? Are they clean?
They might be clean.
No, they're not.
No.
Gordon Hayward is doubtful. Cody Martin's doubtful. Book Knight is in the G League. Kelly Oubre, you're going to miss him for some time with that hand injury. And for the Houston Rockets, Kevin Porter Jr. questionable to return in this game. All right, so who do you think has a better chance of trying to throw this game and accidentally winning? Like, who is the worst tanking team? Is Charlotte a terrible tanking team, or is Houston the worst tanking team? Because the worst tanking team is going to win the game.
It really comes down, in my opinion, to Houston potentially learning something from that Lakers game or ignoring it. We know what we're talking about. It's Şengün. I mean, that's really the story. If they run the offense through Şengün, I think they're a lot better. He had a career-high 33. He had 33, 15, and he was incredible in that game. LeBron went for 46, 48, so it didn't matter in the end. But if they use Şengün as a main person to run the offense through, I think Houston could actually maybe be low-key nice offensively. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I think Jalen Green is going to be annoyed that he didn't shoot the ball enough last game, and he's going to jack the ball up 20-something times. I think you're probably going to see Charlotte win, if I had to guess. I think Charlotte's the better team. They're further along. They both suck, but at least Charlotte has shown something on occasion. Houston's really shown nothing, and I think they're also poorly coached. I think Clifford's a better coach than Silas. I'm just going to say it that way. So I'll lean Charlotte. Both these teams stink. I'm sure both front offices are hoping their team loses this game, but I'll lean to Charlotte. It seems like a game Charlotte would win. You?
Oh, man. Okay, so.
Do you think they use Şengün properly in this game? We'll start there.
Maybe.
That's a good answer. That's how I feel.
And I mean, I don't know. I told you yesterday that after listening to the John Wall interview that I thought that this was just an organizational. The
failure.
Rockets are really, really bad, and I don't think it's as much on Silas. Like, I think Silas would be a better coach literally anywhere else.
Of course, there's some front office stuff with tanking. It's just, I look at the in-game adjustments. I look at the way that they play. It just feels like they're not playing the correct style for the players that they have. They might not have winning basketball players anyway, but I haven't really seen many adjustments throughout the entire year.
Oh, man.
I don't think Clifford's a terrible coach. I think that he's better than Silas. So that's, once again, a low bar. But if you're asking me who I'd rather have coaching my team, I'd probably pick Clifford if I had to guess.
So guess what I did?
I'm
I
assuming you like
went.
the over. So did you just take a same game parlay or something on points?
Oh no. I'm definitely gonna be on the over. I'll tell you I'm on the over in a minute. But so I went into my handy dandy little trend machine thing that I've been enjoying for the past month or so. And you understand that both of these teams are on 5-game losing streaks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Charlotte actually covered the first game against the Pacers. So they actually covered that one, but both teams on 5-game losing streaks. I just did 4 and I threw it into the machine. And I went from 2015 to now. 42 and 42 straight up, 42 and 42 against spread.
Fantastic. Good. Okay. That tells us a lot.
Yeah,
Cool.
that really helps with a lot. I'm going to take the whole team. Give me the Rockets +3. However, what I really did get out of the machine is that in this same spot, 2 teams losing 4 straight games. I can only imagine what it is 5 straight. I just kept it at 4. 4 straight games. They are 65.9% to the over when 2 teams on a losing streak of 4 games play each other. 54, 28, and 2 since 2015. And guess what? In the 4 times that we've had this matchup in 2022, yes, 2 and 2 straight up. Yes, 2 and 2 against the spread. 4-0 to the over this season. So, I mean, I guess that's got to be the blind, rational bet. We don't think either of these teams are good defensively. This is a high total, but it could get there. So I'll play the over. I'm on the over 237. It's probably the better of the 2 bets that I gave out, but I may actually bet this game. I may actually bet this game just because I do like the over. So I may take props, but I'm not actually putting money on Houston.
No, I'm looking at the over and I'm looking at player props. I mentioned either rhetorically, if or not, if you think that Şengün keeps the bigger role at this point. His points prop is still too low. It's at like 16.5. He's against Mason Plumlee. I think Şengün should have good opportunities in this game to actually get some paint touches and to do his thing. Kevin Porter Jr., he's still out, correct?
He is questionable.
Okay, so there's a chance he plays. I hope he doesn't. Because if he doesn't, Şengün's going to have a bigger role. Like, I'm just being honest. Kevin Porter Jr. is a guy that I've roasted for years. Insane amount of talent. I think he's a ball hog, and I think that he does not exactly play winning basketball. He reminds me a lot of Brandon Jennings. I've made that comparison before. I think their style of plays are quite similar, and Jennings had 55 in his rookie year, and that was his peak. Like he didn't have a great pro career because he was a shoot first guy who didn't really make his teammates better. I think Kevin Porter Jr. is the same guy, except Kevin Porter Jr. also has had some locker room issues and stuff like that. So I hope he doesn't play because I want to back Şengün, but I am going to take the over. I think you'll see a lot of points in this game.
Yeah. All right. What's a random player that I can just get behind? Give me a random player in this game. Go.
Random player, Terry Rozier.
Oh, that's not random enough, though.
Is that random enough for you? PJ Washington.
Yes, that is what I'm talking about. PJ Washington was the first name that came up in my head, too. All right, I'm back in PJ Washington for his points tonight. I want y'all to know I did 0 handicapping that anything, but however, I think that we could see this total fly over, like we really could. So I just pick a random player, and it'll be PJ Washington. This is the day of life of me. I do random stuff like this sometimes. All right. This may be quick. It may not. Scott probably will take longer in the handicap of this than I will. The Utah Jazz are at home welcoming the Los Angeles Clippers on a back-to-back. That is. -6 is the total. 227.5. No, -6 is the spread. 226.5. No, 227.5 is the total. Let's try that again. Utah's laying 6. Clippers against the Clippers. Clippers on a back-to-back. Total sitting at 227.5. Injury report for these two teams that you have for the Clippers. You don't know because there's no injury report. I'm telling you right now, 1,000% positive Kawhi is not playing in this game. Like, I'm so positive Kawhi is not playing in this game. Probably not going to see Paul George either because I think he was battling a hamstring injury. He was questionable to even play last night. So you're probably not going to see Paul George either. Kawhi is not playing in this game. I think he logged the most minutes on the team last night, actually. So Kawhi is definitely not playing. Apparently, there's a chance that you see Luke Kennard. So take that for what it's worth. For the Utah Jazz, Lauri Markkanen is questionable with his hip. And, Kelly Olynyk is on injured reserve right now with that ankle injury. Clippers +6. Clippers on the money line. All right, Scott, what are you doing?
I think if I was going to take Utah, it would be the first half because I don't trust them to actually cover the entire game. But the Clippers have been horrible in the first half. We brought it up yesterday, and they lost again. And plays brought up in the chat. Clippers are 1-9 ATS in their last 10 in the first half. Jazz aren't great in the first half either, but the Clippers have been that bad, and now they're missing most likely Paul George and Kawhi. I'm not taking Utah in the full game. I've learned my lesson there. I'm pivoting to props, though. I'm going to pivot to props. I think Walker Kessler is in line for a big game here. And do
you remember when was that with you? Who was that where I was talking about Walker Kessler the last game and he comes out and has 20 and 20? I think that might have been on Monday. It might have been.
I was going to say that might have been the MLK show, which I wasn't on.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I was sitting there. I was like, yeah, Walker Kessler could have a good game. I said it so casually. I was like, yeah, I think Walker Kessler could be out for a really good role. Like he either, plays against Rudy Gobert or Rudy Gobert's not playing and he has an easier path for the rebounds. Like
it was a mix because Gobert got injured after 5 minutes. So he ended up in the middle ground. But I think Walker Kessler could have a big game here. He's been very solid. This really screams Terrence Mann game to me. Especially with Paul George and Kawhi being out. I think Mann's going to have a shot to go for 25.
So when I was watching the game last night, because nationally televised game, super easy for me to watch. Like I can just put TNT on TV and be good. I sat there and I said, Reggie Jackson's got 10 minutes in the game and he's 3 for 3 right now. And in my mind, I said, I think I'll back Reggie Jackson tonight. He's probably going to be in the starting lineup because you're not going to see, or they may still bring him off the bench and kind of boost that second unit with no wall coming off the bench. But he's had 26% usage. That's second on the team, I believe, when Kawhi, Leonard, and Wall are off the court this season. It makes sense because that's pretty much what he was doing the entire time that those guys were injured the past couple of years. Is he had a bunch of usage when they were off the court. He's just incredibly inefficient, and it's terrible to bet on him because I could be looking at another OG Anunoby scenario where he's 2 for 13 for the game. Mm-hmm. But I'll take a chance. So I'm going to back Reggie Jackson tonight.
I'm going to go with Mann. I haven't seen any props yet for him, but he's killed Utah in the past. I mean, people forget that in the closeout game of a series, he went for 39 points.
He went crazy.
Like, people don't acknowledge it enough. Like, he went for 39 points in a closeout game in Utah. Like,
we were sitting here saying, hey, Terrence Mann is like the next point guard of this team, and he's going to, lead this team to whatever. Like, Terrence Mann went off in the closeout game of that series.
Oh, he did. But, I mean, people can say how he's not consistent enough and how, you should pick somebody else. But,
yeah,
I think it's all role-based. I think Mann's a really good player. I think that the Clippers have really just wasted him. He should play like every single
Clippers game. Are doing what they were trying to do to SGA.
The argument is, well, the Clippers are the deepest team in the league. Like, that was a rumor before the season started and how they have a lot of guys that they could rotate. That's true, except for the fact that you're not letting good players play enough minutes because you're so deep, allegedly. Terrence Mann has to be on any team's basically, 7 in rotation? I think he's good enough to be at least a second guy off the bench on pretty much any team in the league.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's a very good player. Like, I think the Clippers have wasted him, but I like him in the spot.
I'm telling you, they're giving him the SGA treatment. Like, they're giving him the SGA treatment before SGA got traded.
Just saying, when Mann goes to another team, I'll back his props. I think he's going to be a hell of a player elsewhere.
Yeah. Okay. I'll still back Mann. I'll back Mann with you. I'm still on Reggie Jackson. I kind of already told myself.
I think I have to like Mann, right? I mean, isn't he in line for 30-something minutes if Kawhi and Paul George don't play? Isn't he's one of the main forwards that they have?
Possibly. I just know it's been a couple of times that I bet Terrence Mann in spots that I thought he should be good, and I've regretted it about
2 minutes in.
like
Yeah.
very early. So hopefully it's not one of those scenarios. But you made me forget that playoff game. I remember I was in a bar in DC watching the game on TV.
Because they were down 20. They were getting buried in that.
Yes. And so I'm watching the game in a bar in DC. Matter of fact, I think I was in if I wasn't in Lost Society, I was in the joint that's next door to Lost Society. What's that joint called? It's like something with a hat or something. I don't know.
I had a friend of mine who went to Maryland. I went there a couple times, but I'm not too familiar with the DC area.
U Street. Just go to U Street.
Okay.
I was on U Street, basically. Dog. I was in there geeking. My friends are like, bro, why are you wild and like talk to these girls, like do something like blah blah.
Because the Clippers
I was in there
geeking.
3-pointers. Yes, I was in there geeking. Oh my gosh. And it's because the fact that Kawhi was out because he had just hurt his knee. So like everybody's like, all right, it's Utah's time. Utah's gonna get it done.
I don't think he just hurt his knee. I thought he was out for the entire year.
Yeah, so I think it came out that it was an ACL later, but they were saying that it was just like a regular knee injury at that point, and he was just missing time, but he was going to come back eventually. Like, oh man, wow! I remember that game. That was one of my favorite performances to see.
That was a Friday night. I remember.
Yeah, man, I like that. All right, sorry, took a trip down memory lane. That was a really good game. If y'all haven't seen it, go back and watch it. Man, really went crazy. 227.5. I'll take the over because the Utah is bad enough defensively to even like a Clippers team get over. So
by the way,
I'll take over.
If Markkanen doesn't play, take every Jordan Clarkson prop you can possibly imagine. But
yeah, Jordan Clarkson over field goal attempts.
Yeah, I'll take that prop. With
hey, win. Stop being scared. Give us a field goal. Matter of fact, where's
ask the people at WinBet, but I'll parlay Clarkson field goal attempts with LeVert field goal attempts, and we'll see what happens. But
we're gonna get Matoy on the show, and we're gonna complain. Last time we complained to him, we got exactly what we were asking for, so we're gonna do it again.
We did, but I do think at the end of the day, I'm gonna lean to the under. Utah's been a great over team. Don't get me wrong. But Markkanen might not play. Paul George might not. There's just so many guys that score so many points that might be missing this game. I think I'm going to lean to the under.
All right. Next game on the slate, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves going to play the Denver Nuggets. Nuggets are on a back-to-back, laying 237.5 is the total. Injury report for these two. Anthony Edwards. Oh, well, this is why they're laying 8.
Yeah.
I was wondering, and I'm like, oh, this is why. This is how you know I don't like. When I get up here, we're all putting this together. Anthony Edwards is questionable with a hip injury. Rudy Gobert is questionable with the groin. Scott talked about he left that game in the 5 minutes.
I'd be shocked if he played tonight. Edwards, I don't know, but Gobert, I'm assuming he's not going to play.
Edwards been battling that hip for a while. Like he's going to play. I think he's going to play. But Gobert, I would be shocked to see him play.
And it's a groin issue that lingers for.
You don't want to take. Yeah, you don't want to play with that. Taurean Prince is questionable with an ankle injury. You know, you're not seeing McLaughlin, or I didn't like McLaughlin is really tough for this team being out for this long. Like they really need him to come back. And
I've been a fan of him since USC, so I'm a fan of McLaughlin's game.
Yeah, he's like his injury means a lot to this team. Cat's out, as you know, too. And for the Nuggets, you don't really have an injury report because they played last night. Maybe no Jamal Murray in this game because Jamal Murray popped up on the injury report late yesterday. You know you're not going to see Mike Malone because he's in COVID protocols. He didn't coach last night. He's not going to coach tonight. But
tells you how much coaching matters for that team. Not really at the game, and Jokic just goes for a 30-something point triple-double, misses one shot in the entire game.
I think I'm pretty safe to say no Jamal Murray in this game, even though it's not up here. I think it's.
I don't think he's going to play. It's a back-to-back. They've been managing him in back-to-backs all year long.
I mean, are we really about to lay 8 with Denver on a back-to-back?
I'm not doing it. Gobert might not play, so now you can actually back Minnesota.
But like people are putting money on Denver. There's 89. It's 51% of bets on Minnesota, but 89% of the money is on Denver. I can't get behind that. I
get it because of injury news, so I understand it from that perspective. But I don't want to take Denver on a back-to-back. It's also I feel like Portland's an emotional game for them because they constantly, have had battles with that team in the past. I don't exactly think that they're going to get up for a game against a shorthanded Minnesota team. It might be a perfect letdown spot, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I mean,
your head coach isn't there to even like rally the troops. Like they might just no-show the game.
and that game never like it got out of hand. That Portland game, it got out of hand, but it never got out of hand to the point where you're like, all right, sit everybody. Like you never got that far. You still had 30 plus minutes for all the starters. Jokic led the way with 34. I don't think that really means too much for Jokic. He's just good whenever, but yeah, I don't know. I can't do it. My gut, I just can't in good faith.
There's no chance I bet the side in this game, but
I mean, no Gobert. Minnesota has value. Minnesota has value with no Gobert. I'm not gonna lie.
Are we just pivoting to Naz Reid props? Is that the move?
Yeah, 100%. I think what I'll do in this game, because I kind of do want action fading Denver, but I'm not really interested. Like if Minnesota covers the spread, I'd be like, all right, cool. Like I guess. But if Minnesota wins this game outright and I didn't bet it, I would actually be pissed at myself. Especially knowing that Rudy Gobert is probably not going to play.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm on Minnesota plus 8, but I don't think I would bet the plus 8. I think I would just put a sprinkle on a money line and then just come back and see what happened in the game. Like, I don't have to bet the plus 8, but I think I would pretty much enjoy a plus 250 money line on Minnesota. Yeah. All right. Next game on the slate, we have the Sacramento. Well, 237.5 is total on that one.
I want to take the over, but with Edwards potentially not playing, I'm not sure if I can. Denver's on a back-to-back. I think I'll lean under. But once again, I don't really have anything strong opinion-wise on this game.
I think total creeped up too much. It opened at 232.5. I think it creeped up too much for me. I'll take the under on 237.5. All right. Last game of the night. Sacramento Kings are playing the Los Angeles Lakers in Staples/Crypto Center. 4.5. The Kings are laying on the road. They are laying 4.5. 245.5 is the total. I can't remember the last time I saw a total this high. 245.5 is the total.
It's so funny, but the last game they played landed like 260. It's oh boy. Do you want to make a case for the under?
Everybody's betting the over, and
okay.
I mean, I don't know. 62% of bets, 80% of money still coming in on the over. I don't know. No injury report for the Kings. LeBron's questionable. You're not going to see Reeves, Lonnie Walker.
Last game and he scored 48 points. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you're not going to see Reeves, Lonnie Walker, or AD. $245.5.
It's so crazy.
I'm not even looking at I'm not looking at the spread. I'm taking the Kings. I'm not even. I mean, quick breakdown of this. I'm really looking at the total here, but quick breakdown of the spread in division games this season. The Sacramento Kings have the second best record in the league at 77.8%, 7-2. Only reason that they are the second best record against division games, ATS, is because the Boston Celtics and Phoenix Suns, of all teams, both of them are perfect. Celtics are 5-0, Suns are 8-0 against the division. Kings are right behind them at 7-2. And then you have the Lakers all the way at the bottom of the league at 1-7. That was enough for me. I just wanted a reason to fade the Lakers, honestly. Like, I just wanted a reason to fade the Lakers. And so that was enough for me to get there and fade them in this spot. There's no way I bet this side, but in terms of picking games, that was enough for me. I didn't really care about anything else.
If you're taking the Lakers, I'd recommend doing what we have been recommending for the last couple of weeks. Just parlay with LeBron points or take something. Like if they're gonna win, LeBron's going for 40.
If you're gonna bet the Lakers and they win, get the most bang for your buck.
Yeah. There's only one way they could win.
Most bang for your buck.
There's only one way they could win. They need LeBron to go for 35-40.
I'm actually curious how many games they won, and LeBron has not gone for a crazy.
Probably not many.
Yeah, it's probably not many at all. And LeBron's still chasing the scoring record which
And
they
I'm
said
keeping an
he'll
eye on
make.
Sabonis triple-double in this game.
Okay. 245.5. Scott, what do we do about this? 245.5. Is this the highest total we've seen all year? It's up there. If it's
From what
not,
I
it's
can
up there.
remember, yes. We've seen a couple of 240 like twos, maybe a 243 in there. 245.5 from what I can recall is the highest total I've seen.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything that high.
Having said that, if you want to look at the meetings this regular season, you can understand why the number's this high. Because to go through the actual 2 games that they've played against each other, 3 games actually, sorry. First meeting, landed 234. Okay. Second meeting, 254. Third meeting, 270. I'm not taking the under. I can't do it. 270? Really?
Oh, Scott.
I'm not going to bet the over, but I'm not going to bet the under. I can't. If I'm going to play it, I'll take some player prop overs for points, and I'll hope it balances out. LeBron 35, Westbrook 20, throwing maybe a Sabonis in there, De'Aaron Fox, who's historically killed the Lakers. You know what I mean? You can find some good spots to get a same-game parlay going for actual points.
Okay. I'll have to find this stat. I'm gonna find it somewhere and figure out what the NBA has done with totals above 245. I want to be contrarian so bad, but I can't. I'm gonna just close my eyes and take the under and hope that one quarter, that's all I need. One quarter not to be a 60-point quarter.
If I plan on
Just
watching
one.
this game, I don't want the under. I'm going to be absolutely miserable watching this game with the under. So I'm
Oh
gonna...
no, I said that's the point. I don't plan on watching. One, this is a late game.
I kind of want to watch this game though. Total's 245.5. It's just a lot of fun.
Watch the first quarter. The first quarter isn't a 60-point quarter. Get back in on the over.
That's a move. Take the first quarter over and just hope for 70 points in the first quarter.
You know, freaking Toronto and Milwaukee had 78 points in the first quarter yesterday.
Oh yeah, my lock was the under in that game. It was a lot of fun. it was a lot of fun with the under getting 78 in the first quarter. The Giannis didn't even play. Like the line plummeted, and yet it didn't even matter. But at least I won with the Spurs. But that was an interesting time.
Because my homeboy put in the chat, it was like, yo, I love the under. He was like, I don't like a lot of plays in the NBA day, but I love the under for Toronto and Milwaukee. And something in my mind, I was like, it just seems too easy. Like, it just seems like it makes too much sense. And that first quarter had 78 points. Like,
I had the under in that game. Yeah,
oh my gosh. All right. 63 is the total in this quarter.
That's just funny. Sure. Yeah, screw it. Why not? More the merrier at this point. I mean, how do you not just go for some type of player prop parlay of like Fox 30 points, LeBron 35, and you just piece something together there?
I mean,
isn't that what you do? I mean, it feels
that
way.
The only way that doesn't hit is if the game goes under.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. All right. I mean, hey, if you're one of those degenerate bettors, the third and fourth quarter both have totals under 60. So
nice.
If you like the over, I mean, you might as well go to those quarters and bet over 60 because every quarter is.
We saw last time that they played, there were no defensive adjustments made in the second half.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Let's get the people up out of here, Scott. Lock and dog time for us. For me, my lock is going to be. Let's just take the second half of the game out of the equation. Memphis minus 4.5 in the first half.
Okay.
For my dog, let's go with. Man, this is probably not a good move for a dog at all. But if I don't bet Minnesota today and they win outright against Denver, I will be kicking myself. Like, I really will be kicking myself not taking Minnesota when Rudy Gobert was probably out. And that's why they lost to the Jazz, because Rudy Gobert played 5 minutes in that game. They might have actually won that game if Rudy
I
Gobert
thought you might take the
Clippers.
So I'm kind of fascinated by your choice.
No, because Everybody knows it's a system play. I don't like taking
Oh,
my
okay.
system plays as lock and dog because I feel like I'm cheating the people because they're already playing. Like my clients are already playing the Clippers. They
Mhm.
already are. They don't care if the Clippers have a good potential to lose this game. Like if there was ever a game for Utah to cover as a favorite, it's this one. However, there's been a lot of other games that Utah was guaranteed to cover as a favorite and they didn't. So that's why I'm still on the Clippers. Yeah, I'll take Minnesota plus 250.
Okay. So for me, I'm trying to think of what I want to go with for the lock here. For the lock, I am going to go with. I mean, I want to consider OKC, but we've talked about this before. Like, I don't know if I actually want to, go through with it.
Mhm.
I think what I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with the player prop here. I'm going to go back to Jalen Brunson. I'm going to take Brunson over 25 and a half. I just think at the end of the day, you're looking at his recent performances. He's had at least 26 and 7 straight. He had 34 against Washington about a week ago. 25 and a half. I get the number might seem
About a
high.
week ago, we could go.
About a week ago, yeah. But Brunson's been so good offensively. I can't go against him. I think 25 and a half is too low. Washington defensively is not great. We mentioned before they don't exactly have any ball stoppers, especially on the perimeter. I like Brunson in the spot. I'll take Brunson over 25 and a half points.
All right.
And for my dog, what do I want to go with here? Like I hate the Clippers so much. Like I don't think I can actually get away with that. I don't think I can do it for my well-being. I don't think I can take it. Um, you know what? It's a massive total, but I think they could hang around. Give me the Lakers money line.
All right.
I think that game is so crazy and absurd with points that the Lakers can find a way to actually hang in there. I'll take a Lakers money line.
Well, I'm telling you, if you take anybody else other than LeBron to score a bunch of points, you're probably getting that at like plus a million.
That was kind of my alternate. I thought about either taking Lakers money line or LeBron 40 plus. Actually, you know what? I think I might just take LeBron too, because if he ends up not playing, I can eject and I get a refund. It's a built-in insurance policy if I just take LeBron
Yeah.
points instead. I think
There's
I'm
no
gonna go
way, like you
LeBron
said it,
40.
there's no way that they cover this game and LeBron doesn't have a crazy game. Like, there's no way they win and LeBron doesn't have a crazy game.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what the price is. I mean, LeBron's number is like 33 and a half as well, so it's not going to be an insane plus price. It's plus 250. I'll take that. I'll take LeBron 40 plus.
All right. Plus 250, LeBron 40 plus.
How did you do against the Kings last time?
Sprinkle it with a win, Scott.
You can sprinkle it with a win if you want to, but I think I'm just going to take the points. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I still don't like this Lakers team. But he had 37 points last game. He attempted 28 shots, so the volume's there. LeBron 40 plus, I'll take as my dog.
I gave out the Kings, and I'm telling you to take them on money line.
Just give me a LeBron.
I just think if LeBron scores 40, they're gonna win. Like if LeBron scores 40 against the Kings, they're gonna win.
I'd agree with you if the total wasn't 245 and a half. That means LeBron can go for 50 and they still might lose the game. So
Yeah.
I do think that if you want to look for another shot here, maybe some type of Sabonis masterclass because he's killed this team. So you can go for a couple options there, but LeBron 40 plus. Let's do it.
Thing that's going in your favor, the one team that the Lakers have beaten in the division, Kings.
Yeah.
All right. That's enough. We took enough of your time, about 90 minutes of your time. Go out there, win your bets. Have a great day. Scott, anything else for the people before you get up out of here?
No, not really. A long show because we like to talk a lot. I'll be back once again on Friday. Stay tuned. We might be doing the NFL show tonight. I'm assuming we'll have player props by then. Do we have player props already?
God bless everybody listening to this show. And
we'll figure it out. But the point is, for the NFL show, I do see player props. So we'll be back later today. Stay tuned for that. But until next time, as always, good luck to all your NBA plays.
Moonoff tried to not have me talk about the Giants game.
No respect.
That is wild. That is like content that is just was almost not heard by people's ears. However, you will hear us talk about
it's been fixed. So now you are talking about the Giants.
I get to talk about Patrick Mahomes and the Giants in the same game. My Super Bowl matchup in the same game.
Mm-hmm.
Man. In the same podcast. Man.
I'm in a playoff survivor pool, so I got to figure out who I want to use this week. I used the Giants first round. So
Smart guy.
Very
Smart
good.
guy. You gotta go. Yeah, you gotta go Chiefs here. You don't have another good spot where you feel as comfortable as playing the Chiefs except here.
As of right now, I'm 80% sold on Chiefs.
Yeah,
As my play.
there's no other spot where you feel as comfortable playing the
The
Chiefs.
AFC is a crapshoot. So I'm with you. That's kind of where I'm leaning at this point.
All right. Everybody, if you're listening to the podcast, make sure to subscribe to YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Make sure you follow us on social media, SGPN NBA, and make sure you leave us a review on Apple, on Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. But other than that, I really have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. I'm trying to give you your time back. So here it goes. We are out of here.